This is CBS News Bay Area with Elizabeth Cook.
San Francisco police could change how they fight crime. More tools on the ground.
People who want to commit crimes think that we're not going to chase after them or try to apprehend them.
And more tools in the sky.
So when we feel the pursuit has crossed that threshold to be more dangerous, it'd be nice if we could lift a drone up.
But will it help with public safety?
It really felt like police chases in San Francisco are already out of control.
Or give police too much power?
I think we need to really invest in people.
The debate over how to keep our streets safe. We're speaking one-on-one with people on both sides of Prop E. Well, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. We are less than a week away from the California primary, where voters across the state will be making big decisions at the polls. And we've been taking a closer look at some of the key races here in the Bay Area over the past few days. Today, we're focusing on Prop E in San Francisco. We're going to be hearing directly from both sides in just a few minutes. Public safety in San Francisco has been in the spotlight for a while now. And while one of the most expensive ballot measures would change how police fight crime, Prop E would give officers more power to use surveillance technology and ease restrictions on car chases. Now, supporters say this recent burglary in the Sunset District is an example of why this is necessary. Police got there just as burglary suspects were getting away, but couldn't chase them because the crime didn't meet the criteria. Lauren Toms has a closer look at how Prop E would change that.
Kira Keegan was driving this blue SUV when a police chase ended in a fiery crash on the other side of the Bay Bridge last December. Keegan wasn't the suspect, but she says the suspect crashed into her vehicle after fleeing a crime in San Francisco. And nearly 3 months later, getting in the car even to get to work remains a challenge.
I was in a lot of shock. I was very disoriented, really couldn't process what had happened to me. The pain didn't really set in till around, 5 minutes after I got out of my vehicle. And I just wanted to see my family.
The San Francisco native was lucky to walk away with minor injuries, but during her recovery, she learned about Proposition E, a ballot measure that, if approved, would open the door to the use of high-tech police equipment, including facial recognition software, reduce written reporting of certain incidents, and lessen the power of the police commission. It would also broaden police's chase policy to include certain misdemeanors. And for Keegan, that's what she's fighting to prevent.
So it really felt like the police chases in San Francisco are already out of control, and I was really upset to see that they're hoping to expand them.
Backed by Mayor London Breed and the police union, the proposition has gained over $1 million in fundraising. Supporters, like Police Officers Association President Tracy McCray, says the measure will give the SFPD more non-lethal resources that they believe will boost public safety.
People who want to commit crimes think that we're not going to chase after them or try to apprehend them. Will they feel more emboldened to just commit more? We need more tools. So when we feel the pursuit has crossed that threshold to be more dangerous than, maybe apprehending them at the time, it'd be nice if we could lift a drone up, right, and say, okay, they can follow.
She says the measure could help combat the chronic understaffing issues that have plagued the SFPD and are currently being supplemented by millions in overtime costs.
Leveling the playing field, getting tools and technology to help us, because we're not pulling in people into this profession at the rate that we used to.
But for Keegan, it's investments in community resources that she believes are the answer to public safety.
One of the people driving the vehicle was 17 years old. I think we need to really invest in people to prevent people from doing bad things that hurt other people.
Hopeful she can return to a feeling of safety and security in the city she strives to grow with.
Now, a recent poll shows that Prop E has about 61% of voter support in San Francisco, while 37% of voters oppose it. Coming up next, we'll be hearing directly from one of the supporters of Prop E, Stop Crime Action. They'll join us in studio. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We continue our conversation on Proposition E in San Francisco. It would give officers more power to use surveillance technology and ease restrictions on car chases. Joining me now is Marie Harabiel from Stop Crime Action. Thanks so much for joining us.
Absolutely, Liz. Thanks for having me.
So why is this a good idea? Why should voters vote yes on Prop E?
It is a good idea for so many reasons. The biggest sort of picture is that it will allow our police to move into the 21st century and have access to technology that so many other police departments throughout the Bay Area have, and that our police department has been restricted from using. And that allows us to address this massive staffing shortage that we have and at least mitigate it a little bit by the use of technology.
Sure. I mean, you come to San Francisco. It has an unfortunate reputation for being a hotbed for crime. And people who are victims of crime say, yeah, I called the police. They didn't do anything. They couldn't do anything. Is this going to stop that?
It will definitely help limit the amount that happens, because through this proposition, police will be able to use other mechanisms and technology to do things like file police reports. Right now, police really have to make a cost-benefit analysis every time they're called for a crime. If they make an arrest, it takes them off the street for 4 hours. And in a lot of the city right now, there's about 8 police officers per shift, covering a massive a tenth of the city, each of them. That is not enough, and to take an officer off the street for 4 hours further reduces the staffing we have to deal with serious crimes.
We've seen some unfortunate interactions between police and suspects on the streets, with police chases gone wrong. If you give the police more power, is that increase the chances of more instances like that happening?
I actually think it will reduce them significantly, for a couple of reasons. The main one being, if this passes, things like the use of drones will be much easier to implement, much faster. Right now, there is a working group that is working on the language that would go out to seek the use of drones. And the police commission that we currently have, I am 99% certain, no matter what the language is, no matter what the committee says, will actually prevent the use of drones, which means we don't have that technology available to us, which so many other jurisdictions have. If we implement the use of drones, we can use that for chases. So right now, police are prevented from a lot of chases that they actually should be allowed on, like the one you had in the video right before this. They should have been allowed to do that. It's the middle of the night. There's very little danger of hitting anyone. But if we had drone technology on top of that, if it's daytime, if there's a risk to civilians and pedestrians and cyclists, you throw up the drone and the drone can follow, and you don't have to be on a high-speed chase. You can just follow, and it leads you to wherever they go.
You know, for a lot of privacy people, though, that are concerned about invasive technologies like using drone technology, they may be saying, wait a minute, I didn't agree to this. I didn't agree to a drone following my car potentially or in my neighborhood. What do you have to say to people who are concerned about those and types of what they are calling invasive technologies?
Well, I think it's happening in every aspect of our life, and to prevent the police from using it is sort of ridiculous. It's happening all over. And the police are one place where it can really help us and improve our quality of life and cut down on crime. I mean, the bottom line here is so many small businesses, so many individuals. Crime has become rampant in the Bay Area in the last few years. It's my hometown, so it breaks my heart. But we have to figure out a way to address that. And with the staffing shortage that we have to make use of other technology. It's a little bit ridiculous that the police are sort of operating on, a hunt and peck typewriter from the 1970s. Like, it's time to give them the technology to actually get their job done in the most effective and efficient way possible.
All right, Marie Harab-Burrell, thank you so much for joining us.
You're so welcome. Thanks for having me.
All right, coming up next, we'll hear from the other side, someone who is opposing Proposition E. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We continue our conversation over Prop E. Joining me live now is Saira Hussein, the senior staff attorney from the Electronic Frontier Foundation. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Saira, why should voters turn down this proposition? Why is it not a good idea for San Francisco?
Well, in the words of the police chief himself, he stated that it's not national best practice to promulgate policing operational policies by voter majority, but rather that these operations should rest with the police commission and the chief of police respectively. What Prop E seeks to do is remove that authority, that oversight authority from the SFPD and put it unilaterally into the hands of the police via ballot measure. We think that this proposition is a kitchen sink of bad ideas intended to address public safety. But really what it does is just throws whatever sticks at the wall and gives the SFPD unilateral authority to decide how and when and where they want to police without considering the consequences.
Well, we all know crime is a big issue in San Francisco. What do you tell folks who say that greater use of surveillance cameras, drones, could help reduce criminal activity?
So right now, there actually exists a process for the SFPD to obtain and use surveillance technologies. It was a law passed in 2019, and what it requires is the SFPD to put forth a use policy and seek approval from the democratically elected Board of Supervisors in a public process where community voices can be heard. So this process exists. The SFPD has gone through it to obtain various types of surveillance technology, and what they're asking now for the voters to do is gut that law altogether and just put the power in the hands of the police to determine how to use some of these technologies. A lot of these technologies are untested, and San Franciscans should be able to understand how they will be used in their communities.
But what should the police be doing differently if Prop E is not the answer? They're fighting this uphill battle of understaffing, and then they're bogged down by paperwork every single time they need to make an arrest. What should happen to reduce crime, if not this proposition?
So, I think many people have spoken about the root causes of crime and the need to actually address what's happening, various community issues that are taking place. But what Prop E seeks to do is say, if we just put the technology in the hands of police, if we just lower the standard threshold for police to be able to engage in car chases, or if we just remove the power of transparency and accountability from the police commission, then the SFPD can do their jobs. Really, this is a proposition that has not been thought through adequately, and people need to go back to basics, identify what the main concerns are, and think through a way of addressing those concerns that, again, involves accountability and transparency while also giving police the tools that they need to do their jobs.
Saira Hussein from the Electronic Frontier Foundation. Thanks so much.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll be right back.